How to conquer fear. The Stoic approach. Fear is one of man's most powerful enemies. It paralyzes, makes us retreat, and deprives us of freedom. But what if I told you that fear is just an illusion that can be controlled? The Stoics. Ancient philosophers such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius developed powerful methods for dealing with fear. Their principles are still relevant today. In this article, we will look at what is fear from a Stoic perspective, practical methods for dealing with it, real stories of people who conquered fear. 1. What is fear? The Stoic view. The Stoics believe that fear is not a real threat, but on our interpretation of events. For example, you are afraid to speak in public, but there is no real danger. The brain just exaggerates the consequences. You're afraid of losing your job, but even if it happens, you'll be able to adapt. Epictetus said, "People are not afraid of things themselves, but of their ideas about them." This means that fear lives only in our heads, and we can change it. 2. How to overcome fear. 4 Stoic methods. The anticipation of evil method. The Stoics advised, imagining the worst-case scenario to understand that even it is not so scary. Example, you're afraid of failing an exam. Imagine that it happened. What next? You can retake it. This is not the end of life. Perhaps this will even lead to new opportunities. History. The philosopher Seneca regularly practiced poor days. He lived like a beggar to understand that even in poverty you can be happy. Division into controllable and uncontrollable. Epictetus taught, there are things that depend on us, and there are those that do not. And if something is beyond our control, there is no need to worry. How to apply. You cannot control the weather, people's opinions, the economy, but you can control your actions, thoughts, reactions. Example from life. During World War II, Viktor Frankl, psychologist and concentration camp prisoner, realized that even in hell, you can choose your attitude to suffering. This saved his life. 3. Acting in spite of fear. The Stoics believe that a fear disappears when we act. Rule: if you're afraid, take a small step, then another. Example: when Stephen King was young, he was afraid that no one would like his stories. He would nail rejection slips from publishers to a nail until the nail broke under their weight. But he kept writing. A view from above. Marcus Aurelius often imagined himself from the heights of space to understand how small his fears were in the grand scheme of things. How to use it. When you're afraid, ask, will this matter in 5 years? Often the answer is no. 3 stories of people who conquered fear. Story 1. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison without fear. Mandela could have hated his captors, but he chose forgiveness and peace. He said, "I am not afraid. I have learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but the conquest of it." Story 2. Amy Mordi, the first woman to swim the English Channel. In 1926, everyone said it was impossible, but she swam for 14 hours, fighting fear and cold. Her secret? I was not thinking about the entire distance, only about the next stroke. Conclusion: fear is a choice. The Stoics proved fear can be conquered, not by avoidance, but by acceptance, action, and rethinking. Your plan? 1. Imagine the worst wish, and you will understand that it is not so scary. 2. Control only what is in your power. 3. Act despite fear. 4th, look at the situation from the outside. Much will turn out to be insignificant. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, but not over external events. Realize this, and you will gain strength. Act, and fear will retreat.